Hello, everyone. Welcome to our session where we will share HP journey with Okta. My name is Yuliya Gorbunova, and I'm Director of Product here in Okta, responsible for Customer Identity Platform.
Hello, I'm Travis Tripp, and I'm excited to join you today to share the IAM admin experience that we've built around Okta. I'm a distinguished technologist at Hewlett Packard Enterprise, and I am the Identity and Access Management Architect for HPE GreenLake.
Thank you, Travis. Let's start with some background. We all live in a digital world, even more so in the past year. And the importance of having prompt, secure, and simple access to digital interactions is becoming even more acute. As consumers, I'm sure maybe all of us found ourselves desperately trying to access our children's school portals, connect with doctors and other services, and, and many other aspects of our lives online. And as owners of enterprise customer experience, many of us felt the consumer pain on the other end. Our users are unable to get timely access and feel frustrated. 10, 15 years ago, customer identity solution meant to securely identify the account holder and make sure the right people get access to the right information and assets. Fast forward to today, the focus has expanded from providing secure access to providing seamless and intuitive experiences. Users and consumers now making their choices based on the quality and simplicity of the experiences with enterprises and service providers. An identity solution is a key piece to creating a seamless customer experience. I'm sure we can appreciate every time we don't need to remember our passwords and are simply logged in. But we still trust that the background processes make that login secure. The amount of online accounts, services, tools, and apps has grown and penetrated every aspect of our personal and professional lives. Making every interaction seamless and secure is complicated. In the modern enterprise software development, rich customer experience is delivered by many services that work in concert with each other. Okta Customer's Identity is able to become the center of your application ecosystem that connects more functionality to your apps with less friction and embedded security from day one. But the reality of enabling that seamless and secure user experiences is it's hard and became highly specialized. There are privacy regulations, there are identity standards, there are industry specific protocols. For an enterprise whose core competency is not identity management, keeping up and investing in identity usually means diverting resources away from what they typically do for business. At the same time, knowing who is interacting with your system on each level is the exact key for removing friction from the user experience. Usually, the internal complexities are reflected in the user experience, where sometimes users are prompted for extra credentials, locked out of their accounts, or simply unable to access critical information. That results in customer support calls and account recovery, and all of those activities are typically top three reasons for calls to enterprise support. Or at worst, customers abandon the service in favor of simpler experience. And Okta customer identity products allow our customers to address the balance between simplicity and security of your solutions. Okta can be built into your architecture as the invisible access manager, making each user interaction trusted and enabled to progressively gain knowledge and confidence that the right people are interacting with your enterprise software. In Okta, authentication, authorization, management, MFA, single sign-on, and many other tools work together. Customers can set up the rules for those tools to deliver the user experience according to customers' internal policies. The setup can be as flexible and seamless as your security requirements permit. So, with Okta, customers can consume customer identity in several ways. You can assemble your solution through more granular APIs, build your own user experience, manage session and protocols, and customize every part of a user interaction. While this option is available, we built more convenient tools to hide the complexity of identity management. And we provided SDKs and simple apps that will help you to get a more robust and standard solution. In this option, you still can fully build your experience from scratch or use the widget provided by Okta. We also provide an out-of-the-box option where, with minimal brand customization, you can serve your user experience through Okta-provided flows. There's also an option of using bits and pieces of all the tools. So the bottom line is that given how critical, complicated, and central identity experiences are to our customers, and we take it very seriously, Okta is committed to partnering with enterprises to enable you to be competitive and deliver the best user experience. One of these partnerships we want to showcase today is the GreenLake portal from the Hewlett Packard Enterprise. And Travis here with me will demonstrate a transformational experience that HPE delivered with Okta as simple and personalized admin experience that provides access to information, context, and tools through intuitive cloud portal. On to you, Travis.
Thank you, Yuliya. We'll be talking and demoing a customer experience that is enabled by Okta's enterprise-grade IAM. Today's digital landscape is growing, and identity and access management is critical to the experiences and technologies that we are bringing to our customers. In order to understand the IAM experience that we've built for our customers, I want to first share with you more about what HPE GreenLake is and our strategy to help our customers to succeed. Let's first talk about the market shift happening in digital transformation. So digital transformation is redefining customer experiences, business models, and operations in every industry. The new decade has ushered in a new wave of digital transformation where the apps and data that create and run enterprises are now underpinned by an operating model distributed across many clouds. Apps, data, and intellectual property live everywhere, edge to cloud. In the first wave of digital transformation, cloud has only been accessible to a small fraction of apps and data, creating barriers to speed. That first wave, in the last decade, was underpinned by the public cloud, a catalyst for new business models, experiences, efficiencies, and offering developers and IT operations the speed and agility to build, learn, and scale new apps and capabilities while simplifying IT. But aside from cloud native apps, the vast majority of apps, around 70%, that run the enterprise lack that same speed and agility because they are not in the public cloud. They can't easily be refactored for public cloud, or they need to stay physically close to the data and other apps in an on-premise or co-located data center due to data gravity, latency, application dependencies, or regulatory compliance reasons. The next wave of digital transformation will unlock the value of all apps and data, not just a small fraction of them. With the data explosion at the edge and new ML and AI apps driving vast amounts of new data everywhere, data gravity, latency, and application dependencies mean these containerized apps and cloud services need to be close to data to unlock insights. This will give enterprises the agility and speed they need and new sources of innovation to create new experiences, opportunities, and efficiencies. This is all why HPE GreenLake is built for this next wave of digital transformation. So HPE GreenLake brings the cloud experience, self-serve, pay per use, scale up and down, managed for you by HPE and our partners to apps and data everywhere, in edges, co-located facilities, and data centers, enabling you to accelerate what's next for you. So HPE GreenLake leads the industry for on-premise cloud services. We have approximately $4 billion in contract value, and we have customers of every size, in every geography, and every industry around the world. So all over the world, our customers are driving value with HPE GreenLake. For example, Porsche Informatique is accelerating application development, decreasing data center complexity, and increasing responsiveness with HPE GreenLake. With a fully managed hybrid cloud environment, their solution is compatible across on and off-premise data centers, supporting both virtual machines and containers. Nokia leverages HPE GreenLake to operate a VLab in a consumption-based IT model. Zenuity is a leading developer of software for self-driving and assisted driving cars. They develop next-generation autonomous driving cars. HPE is partnering with Zenuity, where we will provide crucial artificial intelligence and high-performance computing infrastructure, and we are delivering this all as a managed service with HPE GreenLake. So why are these companies using HPE GreenLake? HPE GreenLake is all about improving our customers' business outcomes. Forrester Research and other analysts have closely examined HPE GreenLake, and they found clear benefits for our customers. Save time, reduce risk, lower costs, and increase control and oversight. Okay, enough about our strategy and why our customers are using HPE GreenLake. Let's start talking about some details. HPE GreenLake offers a rich portfolio of cloud services where we deliver workload optimized infrastructure, complementary software, and services to our customers. For example, HPE GreenLake supports workloads ranging from VMs, databases, backups, SAP HANA, containers, compute, and storage. The range of use cases continues to expand within our ecosystem of software, SI, and cloud partners. Now, HPE GreenLake Central is where we bring that experience all together. It is a central portal and operation console for all types of users across the edge, on-premise, and in the cloud, which is fully managed by HPE. So how does this all relate to IAM and to Okta? Well, obviously, a single portal cannot mean a single service, a single cloud, or a single persona. We fully recognize that every business has a wide breadth and depth of personas who need customized identity and access. For example, DevOps value fast provisioning and access to IT resources. Data science teams need powerful tools to take ML pilots to production with DevOps agility at every stage of the machine learning lifecycle. Finance needs intuitive consumption analytics with clarity into costs and into usage. Legal and compliance need to continuously assess both business and technical compliance so they know when you're out of compliance and how to remedy any issues. Now, your CIO is going to need to keep tabs on key KPIs across the business's hybrid estate. And finally, IT ops for their on-premise and co-located facilities, they're going to need detailed capacity information so they can always see how much capacity is being used and forecast future requirements. Now, let's take a look at how HPE GreenLake Central addresses these personas. Since we knew that IAM was going to be central to our solution, we first needed to start aligning on our goals and our vision for IAM. First of all, we needed to provide a unified IAM control plane. This, of course, means unifying identity and access across services and providers while remaining cloud provider neutral. Next, we needed to ensure that we have rich authorization controls. We want them to be familiar to public cloud users with simple role assignments based on fine-grained permissions so that we can ensure separation of duties and follow the principle of least privilege. We need to provide predefined roles, but also allow for that customization, all while enabling zero trust APIs. Finally, we need strong multi-tenancy so that each of our customers can feel safe and secure in their environments. So we wanted per tenant users and groups, as well as rich authentication and authorization policies. Well, how does that all come together? Let's show you with a demo of HPE GreenLake Central, where you will see how IAM can be seamlessly brought together across services on and off premise in an easy to use console. under our consistent HPE GreenLake experience. We're going to be demoing two different personas logging into an HPE GreenLake tenant. A tenant in HPE GreenLake Central has a dedicated identity directory and federation broker backed by Okta. The first user is a typical user in the tenant, and the other is an IAM owner for the tenant. The IAM owner has tenant-wide IAM management abilities. The IAM owner is able to subdelegate those IAM management duties as needed. So to start off with, this first user is a multi-cloud user who uses the GreenLake Managed Container Service and also can view compliance data for their AWS and Azure accounts. So let's start by logging in as our typical user. We will enter their email address, and then they will be routed to their IDP, which in this case is a GreenLake managed user, meaning they don't actually go out to a corporate IDP. So once the user is logged in and is authenticated with a session, they are taken to the GreenLake Central dashboard. In this case, as we spoke, the user has access to continuous compliance and containers. So this is the HPE GreenLake for Container Service. And what we're going to do is immediately start giving this user additional access to additional services. So they've made a request out to their IAM owner or their service team. And now we're going to log in that IAM owner persona. Okay. So this user, again, logs in very similarly, and again, is managed by the backing directory. So with this user, once they log in, they don't have access to a bunch of different services right now. Instead, they are that IAM owner and they have that separation of duty just to manage that identity and access. When we look at that identity and access overview page, we're given this control panel that shows you easy to use and simple to use constructs such as users, user groups, roles, and assignments. Simply put, you can take users or user groups and assign them a role. So let's start by looking at that first user, that demo user, and we want to give them some additional access. For example, we'll start by giving them some consumption analytics or billing data. So we'll get into there. We'll start by filtering to them. And we get to this user, we're going to see that they aren't a member of any user groups, but we can see that they have three roles. They're a container platform appliance owner, cluster owner, or compliance viewer. Let's go ahead and get them that access to that consumption analytics. We go to the Actions tab where we see we can create an assignment, add them to user groups, edit them, or perform lifecycle actions. In this case, we want to create that assignment. So we're going to find that role that we were looking for, Consumption Analytics Contributor. We'll grab that. We'll give them an assignment on a space, which is just a way to subdivide access, and we'll create that assignment. We can see that's reflected here. And if we come back over here, again as that demo user, into this dashboard, a quick reload, and that user now has access to more information right at their fingertips. They have that compliance, cluster, capacity planning, and monthly charges summary. But you know what? Let's not stop there. Let's give them even more access, and let's see other ways that we can get them that access very easily. So we're going to come back here, and we could give them another assignment, but how about let's give them a user group? In this case, we have an all access demo user group, and that user group currently does not have any members, but it does have a variety of assignments. So we look at these roles, again, a very consistent experience. They are granted a role through this user group, and we can add that user to this user group. So let's go ahead and add them. All right, so here's our demo user one. There they are. And we'll add them. And we'll see that they are reflected as being a member of this group. And we can also go in and take a look at more details about that user, where we're now going to find that they have roles that they've been granted both via direct and group-based access. This looks like a redundant role, so we're going to go ahead and remove that. We'll remove that assignment. So now they just have that role via the group-based access. We could do that to all the roles here, but for now we'll just leave it. If we come back over as that user, once again we're logged in back as that demo user, and reload our page, we now have access to many different services in the cloud, on-premise, and in co-located data centers. So let's take a look at that and see, well, what all access did that really give us? So let's start with this tracked cost or capacity planning. First of all, this is a cloud-based service that is run by HPE and provides all that capacity planning information. It allows our customers to really understand what consumption they've used and where it's going. They can do modeling and perform additional actions as needed. They could get to their, say, monthly charges summary, do different additional drill down there, and export as needed. And finally, they can also cross-launch out to that portal where there's full, rich analytical tools to do a variety of things. And you'll note that they're signed in. They don't have to do anything special, but they have the ability now to log in and do anything that they want with analyzing their consumption. But let's look at yet another service, which is the private cloud service. This is particularly interesting because this is a private cloud running in their data center. And this user, by being granted access to that role in the IAM console, now has access into the private cloud console. They have their role granted. They're able to manage their provisioning of that private cloud, do a variety of activities inside of there. And this was all orchestrated via the backend identity federation and brokering that we have in place. If we look at the continuous compliance service, this is an example of a great multi-cloud offering that again is orchestrated through a variety of IAM mechanisms in the back end. This gives access to, say, AWS and Azure accounts, looking at a variety of frameworks and rules that we can analyze and look at and bring that all together in a very easy to use and simple environment where you can schedule audits and manage the frameworks that are important to you. And finally, let's take a look back at this cluster service, which we started with. Here is a Kubernetes management service that is running in a co-located data center. We can create additional clusters, or we can drill down and take actions on those clusters, like scaling, upgrading, and deleting. And finally, since this is running in a co-located data center, we can go and take a look at that container platform UI running right in that data center. And again, we get that seamless cross-launch experience where we interact directly in that cloud. We get the data that we need, and we can do things like downloading various plugins and working with the Kubernetes cluster directly. So here we are again, a single central portal bringing in data from services in the cloud, bringing in data from private cloud, working against your AWS and Azure clouds, managing clusters and containers for you. All of this from this one console, and all very easy to access and manage the access for. Because if we go back over here as that IAM owner, again, we're back as that IAM owner, and we look at this demo user, all we had to do is grant them a role. We simply said, you know, we're going to grant you a role, and maybe we'll put you in a user group that has roles. And because you got that role, all of that cross-cloud identity and access management and brokering was taken care of. The IAM owner for HPE GreenLake customers doesn't need to worry about the federation. They don't need to worry about the SAML or OIDC or any claims associated with all of those. It's all put together in this simple and easy to use console. Now, I want to highlight a few other things that can be done very easily. So, in addition to our users and user groups, we can manage API clients. And those API clients, similar to our users and groups, are granted roles, which gives them the right access so that every single action that's taken can be evaluated against the right permissions so that they are all zero trust APIs. Those roles that we looked at, there's a lot of them that come predefined out of the box that can come with the various services, but we can even create cross-cloud roles in this console. So let's say we want to create a finance ops role. Okay, and we're going to default based out on the consumption analytics viewer. And maybe we want to give them budgeting permissions as well. So we're going to grab some budget permissions. And as it turns out, finance ops also cares about seeing some access to those clusters, just viewing them. So let's go ahead and grab some container management roles too. So we'll say we want that cluster information role, maybe just so they can correlate that to some of those financial data they're seeing. So we can create that role. And again, of course, this is a purely fictional role, so it may not have any sense for you, but you can create whatever ones that you want. And by doing that, creating those custom roles, you are able to grant the level of access that you need across all of these services that are in the cloud. So what I hope that you have seen is that we are seamlessly orchestrating multi-cloud and hybrid cloud identity and access, all through a very easy to use IAM administrative experience. And bringing that together through this experience gives you access to all the data that you need to manage that multi-cloud and hybrid cloud experience. Okay, as you just saw, HPE GreenLake Central is composed of a broad range of capabilities and services spanning all locations and personas, managed via a simple to use IAM control panel. We needed enterprise grade IAM, so we built it on Okta. HPE GreenLake and Okta come together to provide the experience and IAM capabilities our customers need. In HPE GreenLake, we overlay Okta with our experience. We have our role-based access control and delegation. We have access management for HPE and our partners. And this all helps us to ensure seamless customer tenant management. With Okta, we're able to provide per tenant users, groups, and API clients. Because of Okta's powerful and flexible identity brokering across all of our services built on industry standards, all with rich authentication policies and extensibility. Let's talk a little bit how that all works and how it really comes together. So to start with, our users sign into HPE GreenLake. This leverages the Okta sign-in widget to log in the user. The sign-in widget uses OIDC compliant APIs to the Okta backend. Users are logged in based on their email addresses and redirected to the correct tenant org for authentication. Okta Identity Brokering directs the user on to the customer's optional identity provider so that if they want to use their own enterprise provider, they can. And this is all supported via a number of protocols. Next, once signed in, Okta provides per tenant federations to the customer's on-premise services managed by HPE GreenLake. Since HPE GreenLake is composed of a variety of cloud and SaaS services as well, Okta provides identity brokering to those services. The UI isn't the only access point for users. HPE GreenLake Central has many APIs, which are all accessed via secure JWT access tokens provided by Okta. The UI IAM console is also supported by HPE GreenLake IAM APIs for a variety of purposes: authentication, user group management, application management, authorization, service management, and tenant management. Now, some of the APIs are directly delegated to Okta, while some of the APIs transparently orchestrate across Okta through a variety of API calls to bring it all together into that seamless experience. That gives you a really good overview of what HPE GreenLake is and why we built a custom experience so that we could give that seamless ability for our IAM administrators and owners to work across their clouds, work across their services, and to enable all of their personas.
Thank you, Travis, for showing us the HP GreenLake Central. It's a really rich and extensive experience that you've built. Can you please share some of the growing pains you had while building this out with Okta?
Yes, sure, Yuliya. So we use Okta's hub and spoke model to achieve multi-tenancy for our customers. This involves a fair amount of configuration, which we really wanted to ensure remain in compliance. We believe that where possible, configuration is best described using an orchestration provider. We chose Terraform to manage our baseline configuration because of its ability to manage desired state. Next, although Okta has a lot of great API coverage, all of our APIs we needed to perform full automation and customization were not available as public APIs. So we worked with Okta's professional services to work around those issues, while also working with Okta's product management on getting those APIs exposed publicly. So for example, here are a few of the APIs that we've been working with Okta to provide publicly. And finally, our use cases are dynamic and they change over time. We work hard to keep an open line of sight into our roadmaps, along with Okta's roadmaps, so that we can anticipate any technical and business alignment requirements. Working together, we can achieve the best results for our customers. So Yuliya, those are some of the biggest growing pains that we encountered and how we've addressed some of them.
Wow, thanks for sharing. It surely was complicated and impactful project where HP has grown and evolved requirements as well. Would you please share some recommendations on the lessons learned and the best ways to engage with Okta team to ensure successful deployment?
Yes, absolutely. So when we're looking at what makes a successful rollout and integration partnership with Okta, you really need to start by thinking about your business. And that means elaborating your use cases and your target personas. Have a vision for your desired experience. You need to simplify what your customer needs to do to achieve that desired outcome. And you can do this by partnering with your customer success manager and Okta's professional services team to supplement your knowledge. And one thing that really worked well for us is knowing and influencing that Okta roadmap. This way you can align your timelines with Okta features. Now, there's also a few technical areas of advice. One, like I said before, use configuration management tools for any baseline and common configuration. You don't want to leave that to go astray. Next, define clean session management boundaries. That means your apps all need their own sessions versus your centralized authentication session that's managed by Okta. You really should use custom domains for your Okta orgs. This allows you to avoid any issues that you might later encounter with things like cross-site cookies or things like that. We also, in addition to using all of the general synchronous Okta APIs, took advantage of those Okta events and inline hooks. This allows you to really build extensibility into your platform by taking advantage of Okta's extensibility. And then finally, for us, as we wanted to provide our own API controls and UI, we overlaid some of our own API authorization controls as needed so that we could support the personas specific that we wanted to support for our users. So those are the general recommendations for a recipe for success. And I'm sure if you were to work with Okta and get through your business use cases, you're going to find additional ways in which you can build out your journey.
Well, thank you so much for sharing, Travis. So, what's next for HPE and GreenLake?
So, with what's next, we're going to be expanding our usage of Okta, and we're planning to take advantage of many more of the APIs and capabilities. We're looking forward to the Okta Identity Engine and seeing what we can use there. We're going to be surfacing more self-service use cases to our users through our UI and keeping that experience central to all of HPE. And we'll be looking for more that we can do, which we'll all be talking about at our upcoming HPE Discover conferences. Today, I've provided an overview of HPE GreenLake and how we've used Okta to provide enterprise-grade IAM for our customers through an easy-to-use experience. To learn more about HPE GreenLake or to schedule a custom demo, please visit us at hpe.com/GreenLake.
Thank you so much, Travis, for sharing the GreenLake story with us. And I'm sure our audience learned a lot and can use your experience in their companies in the future. We'll stick around for questions.